actually makes a difference. And this quality facility that's going to continue to help make a difference in our community is something that I personally believe is going to really change the environment. I just gave you the numbers.
Okay, wait 1 second. No, hold on 1 second. I'm not asking you to answer questions. I know.
He's just talking, no question.
At this point, I know that the answers to questions are not going to be found in this meeting. I would like to look at it. I am more than happy to read this many pages. I don't care. I want to know what's really going on. And the transparency has been totally absent here. And so this forensics facility, like I said, I just found out about that yesterday, and in the little research I've done, it's a big project. And it goes, I think it's a companion project to this. It seems like they're putting this in, because Campus for Hope is here already, servicing the mentally disabled or the people that need help, may as well put this forensics facility and all these criminals right next door. That's the way it seems. I haven't seen anything on that. Like I said, I just found out about it yesterday. Budgeted with a potential for almost $400 million. The square footage, 327,000 square feet for this forensics facility. For all of you that are interested, that's almost twice as big as the Venetian casino floor. So it's humongous. So that's another thing that obviously we need transparency on those sorts of things. And as I said, I'm not here to try and get answers because I understand this is not really the forum to get answers, but we need to see those studies. Those studies can't have been done in a 2-week period when this legislation was introduced and passed. So whatever was done is probably just a canned, cut and paste study from something that's been done previously into organization, not by the state of Nevada, not by the city of Las Vegas, but by someone that's going to give a real look at what the impact is going to be on all of these situations. And so, in closing, I have so many unanswered questions, some of which Ms. Jeffries brought up, which is, what are the qualifications for letting people in? How do they graduate? These are all things that she says is going to happen through the working group and their technical group, but we haven't been a part of that, so we don't know why they're allowed to be here, plus how we graduate them on. But that's just one version of the questions that we have. There's hundreds of questions that need to be answered. And here's my position on this. If we don't get answers to all of this stuff soon, the line is, this is the best place for this facility. That's what I've heard over and over again. Then prove it. Show us that this is the best place. What other places were considered? How do those stack up? You have your own criteria for what you want, but what about the communities that you're putting these facilities in? So I'm looking at this really, really simply. I don't know if we're going to get these answers, but I do know that they're on a very, very short timeline. This is something that basically it looks like they're breaking ground September 1st, maybe even earlier than that. So I made the decision and already started seeking legal counsel that we need to. I think we need to put the brakes on this thing until there are very, very clear answers to all of these questions. Right now, there are not clear answers. I'm going to wait after. Anyone that wants to talk to me and add their name to my list, please do so. Thank you.
So I just want to say, and I want to be respectful. I'm just trying to be respectful of everybody here. So there is a document, just to be completely honest. If I found out, if I have information, then I will let you know.
It's in your district. You don't know anything about it.
Hi, thank cops, police officers uncovered, or whatever. My question, because I am a school teacher for the Clark County School District that is about to face a very large budget cut. Did you take in just CCSD, but the charter schools that are within a 1 to 1.5 to 2 mile radius? As a product of this school district, you cannot get bus transportation if you are less than 2 miles away. I am all for helping the less fortunate and those that need to work on it. I'm a school teacher making $60,000 a year, living paycheck to paycheck. I want to help them. I totally do, but not at the expense of the few thousand students in this neighborhood that do not qualify for busing, that have to walk to school, that have to face the fact that they might have somebody, because word of mouth travels. If you build it, they will come. My second question is for you. Are you planning on living in this facility to monitor, to make sure somebody that doesn't snap or somebody that is domestic violent is not going to attack the children that you say you want to help? Also, do you know that are you planning on living in this facility or within a 2-minute walk of this facility? Boss? Ward 3? That's not Ward 1. I know exactly what is around here. I know that it has been building. You can walk 2 steps down and see the library and how there are less fortunate people that are choosing to camp out here. Also, that is not this location because we do not have a curve like that, so I don't know where this rendering is and how that is Okie and Charleston. So what are you planning on doing for the students? Because the school district is going to be facing massive budget cuts. And if you're planning on helping the students and the families that you say that you want to help, is Bonanza going to take on that role? Is Gray, Doris Hancock, OK Adcock, Warren Elementary School, who's going to be taking on these students? That's my question. So can you answer that? What's the educational background for these families? Bus and take them. So what is the educational plan for these students? Are they going to get free tutoring? What is going to happen with the students that you are claiming? You're building a playground, you know that plan.
So I've already met with the school district to talk about this issue. Typically when people are experiencing homelessness, they don't come from one area of town or another. They come from anywhere. And so it's always our recommendation that the children go to wherever they came from, their home school. That's where their friends are. That's where they already have established teachers. There is a law, a federal law that allows kids to go to whatever school who are experiencing homelessness, go to whatever school they choose. And so we encourage them to choose whatever their home school was that they came from. So it won't create a concentration of kids in this area.
Okay, besides what everybody else said, I would like to know what the qualifications will be. And you don't know yet. Will they have to be Nevada residents? Will they have to be here for a certain period of time? Will they have to be legal, illegal citizens? And how are you going to check on that? And you haven't been transparent on that.
And they also have to go through a criteria through all of the supporting organizations to have them check it.
When you say criteria, then the rules can bend. We need a set criteria that we are aware of. And the last question is this a done deal on this site?
The only thing I know right now is in the last legislative session, it was almost unanimously approved and supported by the governor. I believe that's true of this session as well.
In a neighborhood and around a lot of schools and around a lot of kids, we know this is needed, we just don't need it right in that location.
I have a false and fall off the wagon. So we also did, if anybody, because there's access points onto the campus, so if anybody, we had breathalyzers at the entry, and we would also do drug testing, drug screening if we felt like somebody was under the influence. It's not on a regular cadence, but it's if we suspect it, or if there's reasonable suspicion, then we would do that.
So I was at the 2 miles away, I could walk here, 29 years. So Kim, you came from San Antonio. They bought your services here in Nevada. Are you a state resident now?
I am.
You are, but you moved to Ward 3 knowing that you were going to put the building right here. There's plenty of houses for sale right here. Why didn't you move here? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm renting for the first 12 months
Well,
to
then
figure
buy
out where
here.
I want to live.
I need you to buy
And
it
so-
here, because you seem to not care about this community. You keep saying you want to respect us. You've asked for a meeting, and it was from 5 to 7, so you can't kick us out at 6. You said 5 to 7. There are some people getting off of work. You didn't go through any type of what is the community going to say? Why the temple's going to be? Why is it we weren't in talks? You voted for this in the dark of night. This is a facility that is state land. Great. We've already housed so many people here. I don't understand why we cannot have a voice. We need to get involved with the state. We need to jump on board with legal services. And we need to put a stop or a halt. And you're getting paid, according to the books, $350,000 for your wonderful nonprofit job. You make more money than these police officers. $350,000 brought you here. I don't seem to, and it's a public record, and then your other people are making $100,000, $80,000, so they can all stand here and smile that they want this. And tell me something. Durango Casino was put up a year. Red Rock had it, a little, I don't know, plastic detail. Why is there no rendering? Any construction crew is going to know where they're putting the bathrooms. Why is it we don't get to see what this thing on the wall, that's not what it's going to be. Palace Station. I've done the work. Yeah, without the casino. 900, they have only 500 rooms. You're looking at Arizona Charlie's, that big lot. 27 acres. I don't know how a councilman could have done this. We voted for you, and you did not ask us what we wanted. She moved to Ward 3. I've asked other councilmen what they think of you. You don't want to know the answer. They literally said they would not have done what you just did. So I don't appreciate what you're doing. I've gone around the neighborhood. Some of everybody remembers me. I've walked the pavement, and I'm going to walk the pavement some more. And I'm going to talk to Clark County School District as a parent. I've done 20 years in the Navy and 25 years as a high school teacher. I do not understand what you, Kim, think you can do. And if it was so good in San Antonio, why didn't you stay there? And I'm going to ask every one of these police officers, do you live in this neighborhood? And why don't you have it in yours? I am not against the homeless. St. Stephen's Society provides over 300 homeless food. You're looking at the Las Vegas Academy. They give out 400 meals a week. We provide a lot in this community. So don't tell me we should house them and then maybe it'll work. And you're not talking about the drugs, the gangs, or the prostitution.
Very good.
Centers just like this for adolescents. And I know what it takes to operate within a neighborhood invisibly and seamlessly. And I can tell you, even incident-free, there is no way that this does not have a profound effect on the community. Whatever the traffic analysis is going to be, it's going to say it's acceptable. But what it also is transformative. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. They walk to the library on West Charleston right there 3 times a week. It's impossible to not have an increase in traffic that fundamentally changes the nature of the safety and my comfort level with allowing them to do regular things, like their bike in the street. Even if everything goes completely swimmingly between the UPS and the trash and everything else, and it is impossible for you to not have incidents. These people are, but for a facility this size, providing these services, this many employees coming and going, this neighborhood is too quiet to absorb this much. There's got to be a better place. And I've done this for long enough.
So real quick, there's just a couple things that I want to, and so I'm going to send that link out to everybody. The second piece is on the traffic, so that is something that I can influence with the city's traffic engineering department, so I can have the city look into a traffic study that I can get to folks. I don't know if the state has done that or not. That is something that I can influence with the city and our traffic engineering division, so I want to make sure I can.
I want to ask you one question. Development of this facility. I haven't heard anything about providing any money to transform our infrastructure to make our streets safer? Are we gonna get like walkways over streets? Like, is there anything being considered for the surrounding community to help us absorb this behemoth?
So I understand everyone's frustration. The reason why I'm here is so that I can hear it. I want to make sure that I am connecting with you, and you may disagree with everything that I'm saying, but at least I'm hearing your voices. So what I heard is something that I can influence is the traffic part of it. That is something that I directly influence. I can.
Can we talk to the governor?
That's totally up to you. I know many of you have been emailing the governor and legislators. Some of you copy me on that. That's totally within your rights to do that.
You've already said it's a done deal, basically. You get this survey, done deal. You're talking to us, they're like, we're gonna break ground within a month or two. No
I'm
matter
telling you
what
about the
we
things that I can
say,
influence.
you've already made up your
But
mind.
I want to be respectful of who's at the microphone. I'm just telling you the things that I can influence. I'm doing my best to take your input and talk to the people who are going to be making some of those decisions that you're talking about.
I know you're in a bad spot right now. You can't do anything to stop this. I get it. It's a state thing. Camden have nice ideas. They just soar. They got big wings. They're ready to go. Great ideas need landing gear and a runway. So far, you have no landing gear and you've created out your own runway. You're gonna, this thing can crash and burn. You don't have any ideas what to do if it does. You look at the sheriff next to you. He's done a department that does 96%. The 96% not, you do a homicide, you're gonna get caught. That's unheard of. He caught a guy that burned up the Tesla within a couple of days. He's got a plan and he's got a landing gear to land it and he has runways. You have no runway here. You're telling me, oh, this is gonna work well. It works real well. You have some fear and Nazi dictatorship fantasy and people are gonna follow what you do, but they won't. You don't have any, how can I put it? You don't have a contingency plan for any of this. I mean, I hear a lot of talk, but no mitigation. I don't hear anybody saying, hey, how do we give these people a stake in this? You know, you give them no stake. People get given something free, they treat it like crap. That's just how it is. Oprah gave away 1,000 cars, 999 of them ended up in junkyards within 2 years. Because they were free. You're gonna give people some place to stay here, they gotta have some stake in the neighborhood and the place they're staying. So until you can do that, you've got nothing. You just got an idea. And you're hoping that it works and nobody will notice when it doesn't. Unfortunately, everybody here is saying this doesn't seem like a good idea to even begin. And yet you tell us, oh, well, they did this in San Antonio. Well, I looked up some statistics, and San Antonio has like a 15% rate of success. But that means 85% is not doing very well. So you have to think about that. Really good, and the sheriff's going to have to take care of that 35. And believe me, he's not looking forward to that. He barely has enough cops to take care of what we got now. So you need to rethink this and give everybody here an idea of how you're going to mitigate and how you're going to go ahead and make it work. Because right now it's just your idea and a sledgehammer. I will give you another idea. There was a girl at the DOT in Nevada that decided that our, what do they call them, the express lanes we have, she was going to make us, we do 24-hour, she was going to change our entire driving habits. Stavros Anthony said, no, you're not. And now we no longer have 24-hour lanes. We have carpool lanes that make sense. So you need to go ahead and figure out how you're going to make this make sense, and not from your own viewpoint, or the reality of life. Thank you.
Can you point out to me, is the actual facility? And what street is Overland? Is this Okie on the bottom?
Charleston.
Okay. Where's the facility going to be?
The corner of Charleston and Jones. Oh, this is all the facility. Everything on this about 20 acres will be facility. There will be mixed use for all of the services. There will be the residential component on there. There will be a chapel. There will be green space. There will be a dining area. There will be all of those things.
Excuse me. So is Jones up at the top?
Okie is. Okie's all the way, you go all the way to the top. Except Okie. You can't see it.
Top left is Jones, Charles is on the bottom.
What are you pointing at right now?
The CSM library.
That's the library. Okay. If they show up with drugs? 'Cause I know we don't allow drugs. That's in the plan on it, saying, okay, this is not working with the, we don't have enough people coming in and doing this. Let's turn it.
No parking. If people come visit people, I mean, that drawing right there, there's no parking. Where do the employees go? Where do they park? College? I mean, look at your drawing you got.
So yes, this is a rendering.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so,
You wanna come live in our neighborhood? Pretty sure you can afford it. I think you're a realtor saying, let me buy the house.
I'm just doing a time check here at 6:30. I'm happy to let the state representatives know how you're feeling, what you feel, and your recommendations. There's some things that I can influence, there's some things that I can't.
And I'm here to make a comment, a couple of comments. One, it doesn't matter what neighborhood they put this in. Somebody's not gonna want it in their neighborhood. Action speaks louder than words. So what I'm hearing today is people talking about they don't want it in their neighborhood. What are you gonna do to help the situation? Are you gonna talk about what neighborhood it's in and keep the homeless people on the street for the next 10 years? Or are we going to move to a place where we all pitch in and fix the situation and not be a hindrance to the situation? Now, what you see me today, in 2018, me and my wife lived at the homeless courtyard in 2018. But today I have an apartment. And I didn't get no help from anybody to get it. I went to work on my own. So when you talk about the homeless sector, it's not just drugs and alcohol. There are people that are there because they don't make enough money on their job and cannot afford to pay 3 times the amount to get into an apartment. What I'm hearing today is everybody griping about, I don't want it in my neighborhood. But you're not leading to a situation of how to change the situation. You're talking about, I don't want it in my neighborhood, I don't want it in my backyard. Okay, well then give up a solution. Help with a solution. Help the government figure out what to do. Not being just one that runs mouth. Because mouth does nothing. We can talk for the next 20 years and the homeless is still going to be laying on the sidewalk. I'm going to tell you, my aunt owns a home today. But a couple of years ago, she lived at a Walmart in a minivan with 2 children. So it's not just drugs and alcohol that you think it is. There are people there. I have a friend right now that lives at the homeless courtyard that has a job at the brand new casino across right at the end of Fremont Street. But he cannot afford to pay rent. And when me and my wife were living at the courtyard, and I'm not dogging anybody, people can do what they want to do, and organizations do it their way. But we were on Help of Southern Nevada's list for an apartment to get help longer than we should have been, because they didn't do anything. They would tell us we need to come to them every month and give them a status of where we are at that point. We went for a full year telling them every single month nothing has changed, we're still homeless. Then, in the middle of that year, they started coming to the courtyard. We would tell them, and then the office never got the information. So we need to stop saying what neighborhood this is going to be in, or where she lives, or where he lives. That's not going to change the situation. An older woman that went to the hospital because she could not breathe in 115-degree weather outside. Me and another person walked to the hospital to check up on her on Lake Mead. When we got there, that we were told she was laid up. She was pushed out of the hospital. I told the lady, you're going to do one of 2 things. You're either going to get up off your desk
from behind her desk and go find out where she is, or I'm gonna do less.
Sir, I just want to be
Now,
respectful.
hold on a second, hold on a second. This is important, people need to hear this.
Just one more minute, okay?
Now, they said when she got up and did her job, she told us she was transferred to Sunrise Hospital. We get to Sunrise Hospital. We're sitting there and she's telling us they told her she's dehydrated. She got no IV bag in her arm. And the doctor walks in and goes, "Are you homeless?" She says, "Yes." He said, "What do you want me to do for you?" This is a woman that's trying to survive life. This can work if we stop worrying about who lives in what neighborhood and we all pitch in to make this work. And then the lady that came up here talking about they fed 300 meals, that's not giving a solution to the problem. That's giving a hand out, not a hand up. Because I give somebody a burger today, and then they go and lay on the sidewalk. What good does it do for me? They get a burger, and they live on the sidewalk.
In our neighborhood, like we used to have, where the Mirabelli Center is, that may help ease tensions. It's a necessary thing that we have to have. I'm not saying I love having it in my neighborhood, but I'd sure love to have a police precinct in my neighborhood again. Thank you.
English is not very good. I'm coming from a communist country. When I came to America, I do not speak English, nothing. I speak French, Italian, Spanish, no English. I had to grow from the bottom. I saw for the first time people sleeping on the street. I was like in shock because I saw in a movie but no personally. It was so hard. Now I have a house, I have 2 condos, I have a job. I had 2 jobs, I have just 1 job. But I do not understand why we have a lot of homeless. I do not understand why immigrants can come to America and find a job and send money to their countries and build houses over there. And the Native American and the American citizen cannot find a job and are living like a homeless and in a corner of the street trying to find money for eat or whatever. I'm so sorry, but that is hard for me. That building, I'm living here across the Oki, and I'm paying the house, but it's $410,000 a house. And I'm working, and I'm paying the house. All my bills. I'm not begging for money in that corner. Why American citizens cannot do it? It's hard to lose a job. When I came, because my experience, whatever, I lost a lot of jobs. Finally, in 2005, I came in 2001. 2005, I found a job in a wing hotel. For 20 years, I'm working over there. I'm not so proud. Why Americans cannot do it?
I worked for the city of LA for 20 plus years, and I lived in Los Angeles for another good number of years. This place reminds me where crime is so high. I was personally a victim of a cowardly attack from behind by the homeless.
And I've lived in this area for more than 30 years. And we have a business, a recycling center. It's on 130 West Donuts. We've been there for 20 years. And we're right across the Salvation Army. Working there, it's just getting worse and worse. And the thing is, it's a lot of mental. That's the biggest problem. The homeless won't be able to fix it. Through the years that I've seen, there's a lot of neighbors that come and go. There's a lot of mental issues with homeless. they're just gonna fall in that same hole. And the thing is, the mental of other people that don't work just get worse and worse. You know, Seattle Las Vegas, we're border right with North Las Vegas. So the Seattle Las Vegas pushes the homeless right across the street, they push them on that side. Then on next week, they push them on this side. The Utah sends their homeless on this side. You know, as it just keeps, it's just going, it's